The year is 1947. The place is the vast, empty high desert of New Mexico. It's a landscape that feels ancient. Sand, sagebrush. One night in early July, the heavens opened up. A massive thunderstorm rolled across the plains. Jagged forks of lightning lit the sky. Thunder shook the ground. It was the kind of storm that makes you feel small. Nature's raw power. But this storm was different. Something else was out there in the chaos. Something fell from the sky. It wasn't just rain. It wasn't just hail. A mysterious object, caught in the storm's fury, met its end and scattered across a remote ranch. A local ranch foreman named W. Mac Brazel was the first to stumble upon the scene. He was out riding his horse, checking on his sheep after the storm. He rode across the Foster Ranch, about 75 miles northwest of Roswell. His eyes caught something unusual. Not a downed fence, not a lost animal, but a field of debris stretching for hundreds of yards. Wreckage he'd never seen before. Strange, lightweight metallic sticks, pieces of a parchment-like material, bizarre symbols almost like hieroglyphics. The metal, crumple it and it unfolded without a crease. Light as a feather, incredibly strong. Brazel, practical and puzzled, gathered fragments, stuffing them into a sack to show neighbors and authorities. You couldn't just leave it lying around. The material was like nothing he could identify. The initial discovery was just the beginning of a story that would spiral into something much bigger. It would capture the imagination of the world. Military intervention, the base's intelligence officer, Major Jesse Marcel, was sent to investigate. He followed Brazel back to the ranch and saw the debris for himself. He was equally baffled and collected a carload of the material to take back to the base. On July 8, 1947, the public information officer at the Roswell base, Walter Haut, issued a press release that would make headlines around the globe. The statement declared that the Army had recovered a flying disc from a ranch near Roswell. For a brief moment, it was official. Flying saucers were real, and one had crashed right here in New Mexico. But then, just as quickly as the story broke, the military slammed on the brakes. General Roger Ramey called a press conference. Reporters were shown what looked like the tattered remains of a weather balloon with a radar reflector made of foil and balsa wood. The retraction was swift and decisive. The flying saucer was deflated, replaced by a mundane explanation. Major Jesse Marcel was even photographed posing with the weather balloon debris, seemingly validating the new, less exciting story. For most people, that was the end of it. The excitement died down and the story faded from the public consciousness. But for others, questions remained. Answers were nowhere in sight. For decades, the Roswell Incident was little more than a forgotten footnote, a quirky local story about a military mix-up. Then, in the late 1970s, the story came roaring back to life. UFO researchers and authors like Stanton Friedman and Charles Berlitz started digging into the past. They weren't satisfied with the official explanation. They tracked down original witnesses who were now more willing to talk. One key figure was Jesse Marcel. He gave a series of interviews, and his story was explosive. Marcel claimed the weather balloon was a cover story. The material he recovered was nothing like what was shown to the press. He insisted the real wreckage was not of this earth. I-beams with strange purplish symbols, metal foils that couldn't be burned or dented. Materials were described as incredibly light yet unbelievably strong. He felt he had been used by the government to push a lie and wanted to set the record straight before he died. His testimony was a bombshell that reignited interest in the Roswell case. Following Marcel's lead, other witnesses emerged, adding sensational layers to the story. Mortician Glenn Dennis claimed a nurse told him about performing autopsies on strange, non-human bodies recovered from a second crash site. Others spoke of a massive military cleanup of armed soldiers cordoning the area and threats to locals to ensure their silence. The story grew into a complex tapestry of first-hand and second-hand accounts. Exotic technology, alien bodies, and a powerful government determined to hide the truth. This new wave of information firmly established Roswell as the quintessential UFO cover-up story. It had everything: a mysterious crash, exotic technology, alleged alien bodies, and secrecy. Faced with a public relations nightmare and a growing conspiracy movement, the United States government decided to declassify more information in the 1990s. The Air Force conducted an internal investigation to address persistent allegations. In 1994, they released the Roswell Report, Fact versus Fiction in the New Mexico Desert. This report offered a new, more detailed explanation that went beyond the simple weather balloon story. It revealed the existence of Project Mogul, a top-secret Cold War program that used high-altitude balloon arrays equipped with sensitive acoustic sensors to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Cutting-edge, highly classified technology for its time. The new position was that the debris Brazel found came from a Project Mogul array, foil reflectors, balsa sticks, durable polyethylene balloon material. To a rancher in 1947, this new polymer could seem strange and otherworldly. Tape used to piece parts together had flower-like symbols that could be misremembered as alien hieroglyphics. Side-by-side comparisons showed how many eyewitness claims could match Mogul components. This explanation fit many facts, but not all. It did not fully address the more sensational stories of alien bodies. The later Air Force report, 1997, suggested witnesses may have conflated memories of dummy drops and other events with the 1947 crash. But critics pointed out that dummy drops happened years later, making memory conflation a debated explanation. For many, the reports felt less like transparency and more like a carefully crafted cover story. The debate continued. So, why are we still talking about Roswell today? The story endures because it's the perfect mystery. You have compelling testimony from high-ranking officers like Jesse Marcel and deathbed confessions from people involved in cleanups. These human stories are hard to dismiss. They are powerful and human. On the other hand, the physical evidence is frustratingly absent. No authenticated pieces of memory metal or an alien ship exist in the public domain. The government's explanations have shifted over the years, from weather balloon to top-secret spy balloon. This inconsistency is rocket fuel for conspiracy theories. If they were telling the truth, why couldn't they get their story straight? Inconsistency feeds suspicion that a deeper truth is being hidden. Roswell has become cultural mythology, inspiring books, movies, TV shows, and festivals. The town embraced its identity as the UFO capital of the world. The story is about a fundamental human question. Are we alone in the universe? Roswell provides a tantalizing, almost believable yes to that question. Ultimately, ordinary people stumbled upon an extraordinary truth, or what looked like one, only to have it snatched away and hidden by the powerful. It's David versus Goliath on a cosmic scale. Until a piece of that craft is laid on a table for all to see, the mystery will continue.